Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, and today I have gameplay of the new graphics update and screenshots of the new user interface. All of the footage is from the hashtag MakeCAGreatAgain user meeting wrap-up video. If you guys want to go and check that out, a link will be in the description below, but big warning, my parts are super cringe, so if you want to laugh, make sure to go and have a look. The first screenshot I want to show you guys is of the new Combat Arms loading screen, and as you can see, the new Combat Arms logo is smack bang in the center. However, the running man, where you press spacebar on the loading screen, it goes and jumps, that's missing. And I asked them, are you going to go and implement running man back into the loading screen? And they said, maybe. The build we played on, it was a developer build, and that means everything is subject to change. So I wouldn't really go and take everything that we see here as concrete, because there could potentially be a ton of changes before it actually goes and gets released to the public. The last thing I want to go and talk about for this screenshot is the yellow bar at the top of the screen. Now, this is not part of Combat Arms. This is simply because we were running Combat Arms in windowed mode. So don't worry. At the moment, it's simply just a black screen with a Combat Arms logo, but that's probably going to go and change in the future. The first screenshot I want to show you guys is of the new training map, and this basically goes and teaches new Combat Arms players how to go and play the game. WASD, space, crouch, walk, and all that type of stuff. How to fire your primary, throw grenades, and so on and so on. At the end of the obstacle course, there was a firing range, and that was pretty cool in my opinion, because you could go and pick up certain weapons and fire them, fire cardboard cutouts that would go and move and pop up and down, and I thought that would be a really cool thing to implement into the shop, where you could go and test a weapon in the firing range before you bought it. I brought it up with Nexon, and they said it's not on the cards at the moment, but it is a pretty cool idea. Now, the screenshot doesn't really show off the new graphics effects and the new textures very well, simply because we have no point of comparison. But later on, I'll show you a bit of a graphics screenshot where you can compare Oil Rig old to new. It can also go and compare Junk Fleet old to new, and there is a very big difference. Alright, so the first major screenshot is of the new user interface. Now, as you can see, this is of the new shop. On the left-hand side, you have your character, where you have your weapon. You can go and visibly see what you're, train on for your character. On the right-hand side, we have all the items that you can go and buy. Now, if you guys remember the Combat Arms user interface of old, where you had these really big images of the item you're gonna go and buy. This is a bit of a kickback to the past, because we have the exact same thing. Now, what you can go and do is under the item, let's say that skull right there. Under the skull, you've got the left-hand side and the right-hand side. The left-hand side has a bit of yellow text, and the right-hand side has a bit of green text. The yellow text is buying the weapon for NX, and the green text is buying the weapon for GP. And so you can click that, and then you can go and choose 1 day, 7 day, 90 day, permanent, whatever, and then you can go and buy that for your character. Now, one major thing is the fact that all gear and weapons and everything are bundled into one tab. Now, that may seem confusing, but what you have to do is click that little yellow box, and it's probably going to be bigger when you guys go and play it, when we go and play it. It's a filter button. We can go and filter out certain weapons and whatnot, and then you can go and say, okay, I want only sniper rifles. Then it'll show you all the sniper rifles, but only want it of bronze grade quality, and then you can have bronze grade quality sniper rifles only shown. But then there's also a search bar. We can say Tango 51, and that can go and come up as well. So that's the way we're going to go and do it for, trying to find certain weapons. And I think that is a lot better than hot and then gear and then weapon. A lot of sub-menus make it really confusing in my opinion. Here is another screenshot, but this time it is of the presentation that NX Cody did for the new user interface. There is a lot to talk about here. This is of the new mailbox, and this is where you go and get all your event rewards. Now, on the right hand side, we'll start on the right hand side, we have your character that again is visible. Now, that little arrow with that text that you really can't read, you can swap between your different loadouts there. So this is the normal one, and then you could go and press it and it'll have a little bit of a drop down, and you could swap to your PCM as well. On the right hand side, there is stuff for like all your different weapons and gear and whatnot, and it'll go and show what you currently have equipped, which is pretty cool. On the left-hand side, there is something that is very, very important. This is how you go and get around the menu system now in the new user interface. Now, the top left-hand corner, you go and press that, and it'll go and open up the menu, and so you can go and see, it'll say normal match, home, equipment, shop, mailbox, and whatever. And so you can go and really see the text and then click on it, and it'll go to the different sections of the user interface. However, in this, shortened form, all these icons, you just press it and you go to a different part of the user interface. For example, the second one down, not the top left hand, not that one, but the one that looks like a house, that is home. And you press that and it goes to the home screen where you can go and just quickly get into a match. And then there's a one for the mailbox, and one for equipment, one for the shop, and so on. And I think that is a really different way of doing it. It's very similar to, let's say, what Counter-Strike has. Counter-Strike has it at the very top, however, we have, big text, but this time it's on the left-hand side for combat arms, and we have symbols, and I like that because it's a lot more streamlined in my opinion. One thing that I really want to go and point out is the fact you can go and customize your sidebar. If there's something that you really don't use very often, for example, options, if you change your options once and you don't really want to go and change it again, you can go and get rid of that symbol. But let's say if you want to go and get into options again, you just go and press the top left hand corner, expand it all out, and then all your different menus will be there. But for the quick select, for the quick sidebar, it won't be there, and that goes and clears up the user interface a lot and makes everything a lot more streamlined. The basic idea for this user interface is a streamlined experience. Less clicks to go and get in game, less clicks to go and equip a weapon, and I think overall they have gone and accomplished that. Alright, now we've got some gameplay footage of Oil Rig running on the new graphics engine with all the updated effects. Now, there is some major stuff I have to go and point out. The first thing I want to go and point out is the new shadows, the new dynamic shadows, and this is really cool. Have a look right now. The screenshot we've got right here zoomed in. It shows the little hole in the side wall for the corridor of Oil Rig, and it shows the light rays and the shadows coming through, and that is really cool. A definite difference from, as you can see right now, what we have now in Combat Arms, which is a very big difference. Here we have a piece of gameplay footage again from Oil Rig, and you can definitely see the shadows and the light rays shining through very nicely. Now, I have to say, if you guys don't want this, post effects and whatnot, you can simply go and turn it off, but in my opinion, it looks pretty cool. This next piece of gameplay footage is me on Kill Creek with a G36E Valkyrie, just absolutely missing every bullet, but regardless, there is a lot of stuff to go and talk about. The first thing is motion blur. Motion blur is very much evident in this little gameplay snippet, and it's an option that you can go and turn on or off if you wish. On top of that, the light reflection for the weapons when they fire is very different. When you have a look at the G36E while it's firing, that gun barrel flash, it will be brighter at the top of the weapon, but it will go and trail off a little bit the further along the weapon it goes. At the moment in Combat Arms, it's simply just a white flash on the weapon, and there is no difference in brightness. But here, it's dynamic, and I think that is a really cool detail to go and point out. Alright, so to go and round out the Oil Rig footage, we have a bit of a panning shot around the table, and there isn't really much to go and talk about. However, at the very end, it shows a little bit of the updated water, and that was when the match ended. Now, after that, like literally a second after that footage cut off, what happened is a little bit of a post screen came up, but it's in the actual game itself. It's not that we get taken back to lobby and we get shown our XP. We're still in the game, we still see this, watery backdrop, but we go and see how much EXP we've gained and our rank and how many kills we've got, and the post screen is in game, not in the lobby per se. This section was definitely in development, it was still in concept phase when we played it, but it's definitely going to be fully fleshed out when you guys get your hands on it. Alrighty boys, here is the junk flea footage that everybody has been dying to go and see. Now, there is a lot of stuff to go and talk about. This footage is of the new graphics engine, so all the new effects, all the new shaders, all the new lights, all the new light rays, all that type of stuff is implemented, and that is the same for every Combat Arms map, by the way. But this is the only map that we were able to go and play on that had updated textures. Now, by the time we play it, I believe Oil Rig will have updated textures as well, maybe along with Death Room, who knows at this point. But they're gradually going to go through and update all the textures for each of these maps. Alright, so let's get right into it, breaking this down. The first thing I want to go and point out, the updated textures. Now, looking at this screenshot just by itself, it seems that, okay, it looks good, but there isn't much of an increase. But compare it to Combat Arms right now. I do a side-by-side comparison, one side, then another side, and then the other side, and the other side, and whatnot. And you can see that, damn, there is a pretty big difference. Definitely the floor of the red floor is massively looking better. The railing looking a lot better. The blue container looking better. Everything looks so much better with this new updated textures. And then you go and put it with conjunction with the new shadows and the light rays, and overall, there is some really cool stuff to go and have a look at. One thing I want to go and really point your attention to is the color palette of the map is a lot more distinct. We have the green container, the blue containers, and whatnot. Everything is a little bit more, distinct, but also, to the right-hand side of this part where you have that drop-down section, there's a red container, right? The sun shines on that, but then it goes and reflects on the floor. There's actually a little bit of red reflected on the floor. It's not simply we have, a yellow ground and a red side. We have a little bit of blending of the two because of the light, and I think that is pretty cool in my opinion. Sad I couldn't really go and show it here with the screenshot. The last thing I want to go and point out, the rail has a little bit of shadow dropping down, and that is really cool. Now, this isn't the best screenshot, but everything I've shown now is everything that I have. But there's one thing I want to go and say before I sign off. In the video, I said that I'm going to be doing beta key giveaways for the new graphics update. Basically, what is happening is the graphics update is going to be going out in waves for testing. Only a small portion of people are going to be able to get it at the very start to go and test it, and then Nexon's going to let more and more people in for testing. And then when all the bugs have been fixed and all the kinks have been ironed out, then the whole graphics update will be gone and flushed out to everybody. But saying that, the user interface update, that's going to be going and be given to everybody at the very start. Like when it's implemented, everybody goes and gets it. It's going to be a complete turnover like we've had in the past for user interface changes in the past. But that is all I have to go and say for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under. Out.